Okay, so here are the notes for 5-5. We're adding and subtracting rational expressions, but this is day 2. Okay, so we're not really changing anything from what we did in 5-4. We're just working out some more problems, some different kind of problems. Okay, so first off, we need to factor both of these denominators so that we can figure out what they have in common. Okay, so to factor the first one, you have a 1 in front of the x squared, so you're going to factor mentally. So with your 6, you need to find your factors of 6, which is 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Okay, so you need it to equal a -5, and you need, when you multiply them, to be positive. Okay, so they have to both be negative in this case to give you a -5, but when you multiply them, to make it a +6. So this is the only one that will work. Okay, so that's x minus 2, x minus 3. Now then that's replacing that. So now here, what is this? Difference of squares, right? Your a is going to be x, and your b is going to be 2. So you would have x plus 2, x minus 2. All right, so now we have these two. So now we have to figure out, what do they have in common? Well, they both have an x minus 2. So your common denominator is going to be x minus 2 because they already have that in common. And then you have to include what they don't have in common. Okay, so x minus 3 and x plus 2. So all three of these together is your common denominator. Okay, the x minus 2, we only wrote it once because they have that in common. And then what they did not have in common. So the x minus 3 and the x plus 2. So that's your common denominator. So you're going to have that plus, and you're going to write it again right over here. Now then, what do we have on the top? We have the 3. We write the 3. It already had an x minus 2. So that means we need to multiply. And it already had an x minus 3. So we need to multiply it by x plus 2 on the top. Okay, look, this is what it was originally. X minus 2, x minus 3. These two. So this one is what we're adding. So we're going to add it to the top. Now then here you have x plus 2, which is this one, and x minus 2, which is this one. So which one are we adding here? The x minus 3. So you're going to have 2 times x minus 3. The 2 came from what was already here, and now we're adding the x minus 3. All right, so now we can distribute. So you would have 3x plus 6 plus, we're going to distribute 2x. 2 times -3 gives me minus 6 all over. X minus 2, x minus 3, x plus 2. Okay, so now combine like terms. 3x plus 2x equals 5x. And positive 6 minus 6 gives you 0. So 5x is on the top, and you have x minus 2, x minus 3, and x plus 2. That's your answer. Okay, well now let's look at this one. All right, so these have something in common. You can take out a 2, and that's going to leave you with x squared minus 3x plus 9. All right, so can we factor this? 9. You would have 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. Can you add or subtract any of these to get 3? No, we can't. So we can't factor this. Okay. Then over here we have x cubed plus 27. This is a sum of cubes. Okay. So we would rewrite that as x plus 3. The cube root of 27, 27 to the 1/3 power, is 3. And then you're going to get x squared minus 3x plus 9. Okay. All right. So these are our denominators. Okay. So we have to figure out, they have this in common. So we're going to have, that's going to be part of your denominator, but you only write it once. Okay. And these are different. Okay. So we have to include both of them. So a 2 and an x plus 3. So this is your common denominator. We're combining it. Okay, these are the same. So we write it once. And then what was different was a 2 in the x plus 3. So now we're going to rewrite this with a 5 on top. And over here you're going to have a 2x plus 6 on top. We have to rewrite our denominator. Okay. So now let's say we've got to figure out what's different. So we have a 2 and we have this. So the x plus 3 is what we added. And now over here you've got, let's see, your x plus 3 and you've got this. So you added the 2. So this is just going to be, you're going to multiply this times 2. Okay, so now we can distribute. So you're going to get 5x plus 15 all over this denominator. And I'm going to put it all together in 1. And now this 2 is going to distribute. So you're going to have negative 2 times 2x is 4x minus 4x. And then you're going to have 2 times 6 gives you plus 12, but you have to distribute your negative sign. So that makes it a minus 12. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite my denominator, which is 2 times x squared minus 3x plus 9 times x plus 3. So combine like terms. 5x minus 4x gives you x, and 15 minus 12 gives you a positive 3, so x plus 3. So you're left with 2x squared. I'm just rewriting my denominator. All this. So what can you do here? The x plus 3 and the x plus 3 are alike, so you cancel them out. So you end up getting 1 over 2 times x squared minus 3x plus 9. That's your answer. Okay. All right, let me flip it over. Let's look at another one. Number 3 is going to be similar. You're going to factor both of those, or try to factor both of them if you can. And I'm just trying to figure out which one I want to do next. That one, those are similar. I'm just going to skip down and I'm going to do number 4 because number 3 is similar to the first example we did. So if you look here, you're dividing and you're multiplying, okay? So now we've learned how to divide, multiply, add, and subtract. So you always need to be paying attention to your signs, okay? So first we can factor out a 4. We're going to do each part separately, okay? You don't have to have common denominators on multiplying and dividing. You only have to have common denominators when you're adding and subtracting, okay? So break this down into parts. You've got x to the 4th minus 1 all over. Here you're going to have, this would be 4, so you would have 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. You need it to be 3, so this would be a negative. So you would have x minus 1 and x plus 4. Now you have divide by means multiply by the reciprocal. So the 3x, let's take the 3 out of it, and you would get x minus 5 on the top. So I flipping these two. Divide means multiply by the reciprocal. I'm going to put my 2x down here. Then you're multiplying again. Now what do these have in common? An x, that leaves you with x plus 4 all over 2x cubed minus 10x squared. So we can group these. Just looking. So there's 4 terms, right? Oh, we could take a 2 out first, though. Yeah, let's do that first. So take your 2 out first, and you'd get x cubed. So let's see, you'd have 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus x minus 5. Then you could group. Right? And group these two. So you have 2. And what can you take out of this? An x squared That leaves you with x minus 5. And then you would get, x plus, so it's the same thing, so it would be plus 1, x minus 5. Okay. So remember, when you're grouping, you just have to, there's nothing you can take out, you have to put a plus 1 here as your placeholder. Okay, and then I just rewrote the x minus 5. All right, so what can we do here? Difference of squares here. Let's do 4. So you would have x squared plus 1, x squared minus 1. Okay, all over x minus 1 times x plus 4. Can't do anything here, so you have 3x minus 5 over 2x times, you're going to have x plus 4. I'm just rewriting, okay? Because I'm going to need to rewrite this part. So you're going to have 2. You have x squared plus 1. What's on the outside you put together. And then what matches in the parentheses. That's how you group, right? Factor by grouping. Okay, so you can't do difference of squares here because this is a plus and not a minus. Okay, the same here, you can't do it because it's a plus, but we could do difference of squares again here. Okay, so you would have 4x squared plus 1. We can't do anything with that. But now this becomes x plus 1, x minus 1. Difference of squares, a plus b, a minus b. All over x minus 1, x plus 4. Now then, I'm just rewrite these because we can't do anything with these. We've already factored them all the way. Times x plus 4, all over 2, x squared plus 1, x minus 5. Okay? So we factored everything because we said we can't factor this, and we can't factor this because it's not difference of squares. So now we can start canceling out what we have that looks alike, right? So you have an x minus 1. And an x minus 1. Okay. You've got an x plus 4 and an x plus 4. You've got an x squared plus 1 and an x squared plus 1. You've got an x minus 5 and an x minus 5. You've got, what else do we have left? A 4, a 2. So you've got an x and an x. You can cancel those out. And now you have 2 times 2, which is 4, and a 4. So you can mark that 4 off with those 2's. Okay? That's it, right? So we only have an x plus 1 and a 3. We don't have anything in the bottom, so we can't cross anything else off. So our answer becomes, you multiply across, you have 3 times x plus 1. Okay. And then on the bottom, you have nothing. So it's actually 1. Okay, over 1, which is the same thing as 3 times x plus 1. That's your answer. So everything canceled out but those 2 things on the top. Is that clear? Can you see what I got? It's starting to get blurry.